Once upon a time, in the heart of a nation brimming with potential, yet weighed down by challenge, a dream began to stir. It was a dream not of an individual, but of a collective will. A vision to breathe life into the quiet ambitions of SMMEs, the unsung heroes of South Africa's economy. For too long, the stage had been dominated by giants, casting shadows over the smaller players struggling to find their place. For too long, the pathways to success were blocked by barriers of red tape, constrained by access to finance, and hindered by fragmented support systems. But now, a bold step forward. From the corridors of government, the decision was made to unite, to streamline, to empower. The cabinet's call was clear: bring together the forces of CFERI, CBDA, and CEDA to form a single formidable entity. It was a dream, not of an individual. The Small Enterprise Development and Finance Agency, CFERI, was breathed life into the quiet ambitions of SMMEs. Is not just an agency; it is a bridge for those who dream but lack the means. It is a lighthouse for those navigating the stormy seas of entrepreneurship. It is a promise to accelerate support for MSMEs. To success will our mission is clear: to unlock doors for every micro, small and medium enterprise, to level the playing field, breaking the chains of concentrated ownership, from the corridors to ignite transformation, driving economic growth that is inclusive and fair, to empower. For years, the challenges seemed insurmountable. The bottlenecks slowed the march of innovation. But today, CFERI rises to change the narrative. It was a dream. Thus, we will do more than development and finance agency, empower digital platforms, blended finance, and sector-specific support. CFERI will equip businesses to survive, for those who dream, thrive, and soar. It is a lighthouse for those navigating the stormy seas of non-financial support, ensuring that businesses stand strong against the winds of uncertainty. This isn't just about the economy, it's about micro, it's about enterprise, it's about rewriting South Africa's story. A story where unemployment, poverty, and inequality are not the headlines, but the footnotes of a past era to empower. For years, let us see the challenges as a catalyst for change. Let us imagine the young woman of the township opening her first cooperative, rises to the farmer in the rural village, accessing finance to expand his yield. The tech innovator finding partners to take her idea global. This is the power of CFERI. It is not the solution, it is the enabler of solutions. It is not the destination, it is the road that will take us there. Together, let us lift the SMMEs of our nation. Together, let us create a South Africa where potential meets opportunity, where ideas become enterprises, where unemployment, poverty, and inequality are not driving to CFERI of a past era to empower. Once upon a time, in the heart of a nation brimming with potential, yet weighed down by challenge, a dream began to stir. It was a dream not of an individual, but of a collective will. A vision to breathe life into the quiet ambitions of SMMEs, the unsung heroes of South Africa's economy. For too long, the stage had been dominated by giants, casting shadows over the smaller players struggling to find their place. For too long, the pathways to success were blocked by barriers of red tape, constrained by access to finance, and hindered by fragmented support systems. But now, a bold step forward. From the corridors of government, the decision was made to unite, to streamline, to empower. The cabinet's call was clear: bring together the forces of CFERI, CBDA, and CEDA to form a single formidable entity. Thus, the Small Enterprise Development and Finance Agency, CFERI, was born. CFERI is not just an agency. It is a bridge for those who dream but lack the means. It is a lighthouse for those navigating the stormy seas of entrepreneurship. It is a promise to accelerate support for MSMEs. Our mission is clear: to unlock doors for every micro, small and medium enterprise, to level the playing field, breaking the chains of concentrated ownership, to ignite transformation, driving economic growth that is inclusive and fair. For years, the challenges seemed insurmountable. The bottlenecks slowed the march of innovation. But today, CFERI rises to change the narrative. We will do more than lend. We will empower. Digital platforms, blended finance, and sector-specific support. CFERI will equip businesses to survive, thrive, and soar. It will weave a safety net of non-financial support, ensuring that businesses stand strong against the winds of uncertainty. This isn't just about the economy. It's about people. It's about communities. It's about rewriting South Africa's story. A story where unemployment, poverty, and inequality are not the headlines, but the footnotes of a past overcome. Let us see CFERI as a catalyst for change. Let us imagine the young woman in the township opening her first cooperative, the farmer in the rural village accessing finance to expand his yield, the tech innovator finding partners to take her idea global. This is the power of CFERI. It is not the solution, it is the enabler of solutions. It is not the destination, it is the road that will take us there. Together, let us lift the SMMEs of our nation. Together, let us create a South Africa where potential meets opportunity, where ideas become enterprises, and where no dream is too small to matter. Welcome to CFERI. Once upon a time, in the heart of a nation brimming with potential, yet weighed down by challenge, a dream began to stir. It was a dream not of an individual, but of a collective will. A vision to breathe life into
Thank you for allowing us for this time to settle for this gathering here this afternoon. Good afternoon, Honorable Minister, Ms. Stella Ndabeni, our Deputy Minister among us, Mr. Singh, Honorable Premier, Mr. Mabuyane, Executive Mayor, Ms. Babala Lobishe, but they couldn't join us. We have replacement amongst the list. We are being joined by our MSc, as well as esteemed guest, university leadership among us, our acting Vice Chancellor, Mr. Lutando Jack, incubatees, supporting partners, colleagues, and friends of entrepreneurship. I am Dr. Puleng Molokoboys. I have the honor of serving you as your program director this afternoon. Today, our gathering here that makes us to be here together. Today, we are launching the ministerial launch of the Nelson Mandela University Center of Entrepreneurship Rapid Incubator. This is a national milestone and a strategic drive of inclusive development. This center represents our shared vision to nurture talent, to empower youth, accelerate entrepreneurship and enterprise development, as well embedded entrepreneurship within, or embed entrepreneurship within our higher education systems. So today, it's not just a launch, or it's not just us opening a center. It is a powerful testament of intent aligned with the G20 call of innovation, drive growth, and job creation. We have a focused and impactful program ahead with us today. You should have noted you have a program in front of you, but we have a latest program that is available on your lanyard. So if you can use your phone to scan, you should have the latest updated program next to you. So that program will be the outline that will guide us today. So for this program, we have exactly 2 hours. As I proceed with outlining what we have ahead, so we aim to conclude promptly by 4 o'clock today. So please note, all speakers have roughly been allocated 5 to 10 minutes each, with an exception of our Honorable Minister, who will deliver a keynote address of about 30 to 45 at max. So before we begin with our gathering today, I would love to call Ms. Glenda Stradom, our safety, to give us a safety briefing. She's coming from the Health and Safety Department. She is the Health and Safety Manager. Let's give her a brief moment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Nelson Mandela University welcomes you to this gathering and takes your safety very, very seriously. We all know that accidents and emergencies do occur sometimes, and in such an event, we need to be able to be prepared to respond promptly. So in case of an emergency, the emergency alarm will sound. You will calmly get up out of your seats and proceed to the emergency exit points. You will do the following you will do so following the green running men on your left and right hand side above the entrances of this venue, and then proceed outside to the evacuation assembly point, which is situated alongside of the road in the front on the right hand side. You will remain there until the all clear has been given. The Nelson Mandela University thanks you for your cooperation and your compliance with the health and safety protocols. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Glenda. So let's begin by grounding ourselves in purpose and presence as we open this important occasion by calling our special pastor, who's going to lead us with prayer and census with vision for this gathering. Let us give Pastor from Rock Ministry, Pastor Kenneth Bagos, as is coming to give us prayer. Thank you.
Pastor Bach, no problem. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. That's right. Let's all be heard this afternoon, man. Please allow me just to quickly greet our minister here this afternoon, our deputy minister, MEC, and acting vice chancellor of Nelson Mandela University, and everybody else also in the room. Let me just read a verse of scripture just before I pray. It's found in the book of Zechariah 4, verse 10. Do not despise these days of small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. For the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. I think I don't have to preach here this afternoon, as I will do in the church. So that word in itself is saying a lot. Let us not despise what's happening here today, because our Father in heaven is saying here that He rejoices when the work begins. So therefore, my prayer will be very simple this afternoon, where I'm going to pray for the Lord to bless this work which is starting here today. And we all are expecting to see great success quickly, because whatever God is going to do through this event and through this organization starting here today, the Bible says the eyes of the Lord searches the whole earth in order to strengthen those whose hearts are fully committed to him. God will strengthen everything that will be done as from today with this organization in the name of Jesus. If you believe that, say amen. Amen. Can I get a louder amen? Amen? Amen. Now, can we bow our heads in prayer? Father, it's in the name but this incubator, my Father, will be recognized with the presence of God, with things that is going to happen, Lord. You accelerate things, Lord, that's going to happen through this incubator, my Father. Therefore, Lord, we declare it is not by might, it is not by power, but it's by your Holy Spirit, my Father, that things, Lord, will change, Lord, within Nelson Mandela Bay, but it will have an impact, my Father, not just in Nelson Mandela Bay, but within the Eastern Cape, and not just the Eastern Cape, oh Father, but within South Africa, and the rest of Africa, my Father, will be impacted through this incubator, not by might, not by power, but by your Holy Spirit. That's what we declare, oh Father. Come, Lord, and bless everything. Bless every speaker here this afternoon, oh Lord, because this, my Father, will be a day that will be remembered, that whatever have started within that incubator in Nelson Mandela Bay has led to greater things in the name of Jesus. If you believe that, can you shout amen? Amen. Can you shout amen? Amen. Thank you, speaker.
Thank you so much, Pastor, for centering us in spirit and intention. Now we are proceeding to the next segment of our program, which is official opening and welcome. So this is a moment where our acting Vice Chancellor, Mr. Lutando Jack, will be welcoming us at the Nelson Mandela University. Thank you. Let's give him a round of applause as he proceeds to the mic.
Thank you very much, Puleng. Honorable Minister Stella Ndabeni, our Minister of Small Business Development, who has convened us this afternoon in this launch of the Nelson Mandela University Center for Entrepreneurship Rapid Incubator, our Deputy Minister Singh, our MEC, Her Worship, the Executive Mayor of our city, distinguished guests, members of the entrepreneurship development ecosystem. I don't have to mention all of you by your names. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It seems this is a week of actors. We had on Freedom Day, Minister Gwede Mantashe acting as president, and today I'm acting on behalf of our Vice Chancellor, Professor Sibongile Mutwa. She sends her apologies this afternoon, And I must say, ex ante, that she is a champion of student entrepreneurship at our university. She is leading from the front. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to welcome all of you to this august gathering, as well as to just make few remarks. I know that we've got limited time. To just make few remarks about the importance of this gathering, as well as the necessity to add the requisite impetus in the abiding need to boldly accelerate youth innovation, creativity, and entrepreneurship, in our country. The French great politician and poet Victor Hugo reminds us that nothing is more powerful than an idea whose time has come. Nothing is more powerful than an idea whose time has come. Today, across our country, and particularly in our tertiary institutions, such an idea has indeed arrived. It is the idea that student and youth-driven entrepreneurship is not merely desirable, it is essential. It must be a centerpiece of our national psychology. Let me repeat, it must be a centerpiece of our national psychology, Minister. And we are happy that Mafagu, you are leading from the front in this regard. I was briefed by my old colleague in EXEC, Vuisa, that as well as Andrew, my former boss at EXEC, that you've been busy, you've kind of did a stay-in here in the city, championing this work. And I want to say, you've got an ally in our university in this regard, in this as you embark on this crusade. It is an idea that innovation, boldness, and reinvention are not luxuries. They are lifelines. I've got to repeat this. Innovation, reinvention, and boldness, they are not luxuries. They are lifelines. And because of time, I'm not going to make examples about countries that are leading, in this regard, and whose economies are leading in this regard, which is why China, for instance, is able to say to the US, well, you can go and jump in the nearest lake. It is because they have invested in innovation, in reinvention, and they are bold in taking these necessary steps. But there is also another truth that we need to embrace, ladies and gentlemen. Again, drawing on the words of one of the greatest scientists that the world has produced, Albert Einstein, that we cannot solve our problems with the same level of thinking that created them. This simply means, ladies and gentlemen, that systems that have failed our youth cannot and will not be a solution will not be the solution to the challenges that they have created. We must therefore think differently, and we must build differently. We must think differently, and we must build differently. We've got to lose sight of the shore. There is an old proverb that says, you can't discover new oceans and new islands unless you've got the courage to lose sight of the shore. We've got to disabuse ourselves of the familiar and get into new territories. We've got to encourage our young people to move away from certainties and be explorers. So it is in this regard that our university has partnered with the department in an attempt, in a bold effort to create incubators in universities. For universities are centers of learning, they are centers of knowledge production. So we think the location of incubators in universities is the best decision that the ministry and the department has taken. And as we do this, we must build and nurture institutions that are going to encourage youth to innovate. And incubators are, amongst others, one of those institutions. And our universities must be at the center of supporting and opening opportunities for young people and connect them to markets, connect them to new industries, give them new ideas, as well as our young people have got to also challenge the status quo, provide new leadership models, including new models of ownership of enterprises. So the center we are launching today will provide a suite of services to our student entrepreneurs, ranging from business support, business development services, business training programs and master classes, support linking them with funding sources, as well as in collaboration. The center will collaborate with our innovation office, as well as other outfits. That's the advantage of having a center that is located in the institution, because we've got these enabling architectures within our institution in the form of the innovation center, innovation office, for instance. The recently established Nelson Mandela University Africa Hub for youth entrepreneurship and social innovation, as well as other outfits that will be put to use in terms of supporting our student entrepreneurs. There are things like trade secrets, patenting, intellectual property, and all those technical related matters that every entrepreneur needs to be supported with. So such services are resident, for instance, in our university, Madam Minister. So we are truly proud of this launch of hosting one of the incubators as the university. And I must say, we're launching an incubator that has broken new ground. As I move towards close, an incubator that has broken new ground. For instance, just in the area of funding support, as the university, we have invested just last year, about 7 million towards the incubator. We supported about 110 clients. We incubated about 38 businesses. They created about 98 jobs, and their turnover was, their annual turnover, all of them, was about 8 million. I mean, there's nothing enjoyable than interfacing with students that employ fellow students. Interfacing with students that go to class knowing very well that their business is running. So I'm talking about, this is not some fantasy. I'm talking about what is happening right here at our university. Some of them kind of said to me, "Look, I'm now going to surprise my parents. I'm buying a car for them." Mind you, they are still studying. You know, others have shifted programs. One was doing law. And he said, no, this thing is boring to me. I'm now going to do, this student came in, he was on NSFAS. He says, this thing is boring, I'm going to do a BCom in accounting, I want to be a chartered accountant. Then I asked him, but what happened to your business? He says, no, he started, we funded him with 50,000 to start an Uber. He's now has got 2 cars. He says, no, the business is running. And I'm doing well in terms of my studies. So we've made a good start, but we want to build more impetus, in this regard. We want to move away, not move away. We want to diversify from a focus on services and move towards what is commonly referred to as the productive sectors, of our economy, which is why we're calling upon the ecosystem to support us as we embark on this exciting journey, so that we can truly foster our students, into real markets, into real industries, so that they can then take a lead, in changing lives, in growing our economy, and most importantly, in creating new economies. So we hope that all of you gathered here, you will journey with us as the university, as we also transform ourselves into a dynamic African entrepreneurial university that truly plays in the space, of entrepreneurship. And we have taken that decision. And part of executing that decision, for instance, we have advertised for a research chair, on entrepreneurship, and financial inclusion. So, thank you so much, Fago, for this, and thank you so much to all of you for gracing this event. We are truly excited as the university, and we are open for business as far as growing and launching our young people, into the real economy. We are available to partner with you. We've got a really working team in the Nelson Mandela Africa Hub for Youth Entrepreneurship and Social Innovation constituted mainly by 90% young people in terms of their staffing. So you can see that we truly mean business. Thank you so much. You are all welcome.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jack, for setting a clear tone and welcoming everyone in this room and also to experience this milestone that we have achieved today. So we are about to move to the next line or next item of our program, which is the purpose of the day. So we are going to welcome Ms. Nonzuzo Manzini, the chairperson of CFERI. Sorry? All right. Oh, sorry. Thank you so much. Ms. Nonzuzo, my sincere apologies. Ms. Nonzuzo Makanda, the chairperson of CFERI, to share the vision and significance behind the center that is being launched today. So we welcome the chairperson of CFERI, Ms. Nonzuzo Makanda. Thank you.
Adjust this a bit. Okay, is it fine? Must go better down. It's better. Thank you, Program Director, Honorable Minister Ndabeni Abrahams, Honorable Premier Mabuyane in absentia, the Deputy Minister of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment, Mr. Singh, the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, Medikhale, and the members in attendance. The MEC of Economic Development in the province, Mam Peters, the Executive Mayor, Mam Lobishe, the Director General of the Department of Small Business Development, Ms. Thulisile Manzini, the board members of CFERI were in attendance, the Acting Group CEO of CFERI, Mr. Nkosko Nambata, the Acting Vice Chancellor at the university, Mr. Jack, members of the Council of the University in attendance, the director in charge of the incubator that is being launched today, Dr. Lose, the traditional leaders in our midst, if they are in the room, Inganga, Nenzibazayo, the distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. We are gathered here today to launch the NMMU Center for Entrepreneurship Rapid Incubator, which forms part of the CFERI incubator ecosystem. As the Small Business Portfolio Minister, we strive to build a solid ecosystem of support for innovation and small businesses across the country. Our incubation network, ladies and gentlemen, remains a vital part of this development. The role of business incubator in the value chain of the small enterprise development is always key because it starts from ideation until the stage where they can commercialize and be able to trade and make money and create the jobs that our economy is yearning for. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, the role played by incubators, including the one that we are launching today, is of paramount importance, and it's something that we all need to support. And I think it is worth mentioning that as CFERI, we usually the first funder that puts in the first seed in activating incubators. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, we deserve the round of applause. Without the money that we put in, no one comes in to support us. Thank you very much. So that's what we do, to activate the opportunity for other funders to come on board and support the seed that we planted. We all know that there isn't a bottomless kitty anywhere. No one has a bottomless kitty. So the first seed that is put on, it invites others then to come on board and top up from whatever that is put there to make sure that these incubators, not only are they sustainable on their own, but they bring about more incubatees to participate. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about onboarding incubators, it's also about the exit. What is the outcome of the program? How many have graduated? How many are commercial? How many are making money? How many employees are they having? We need those developmental impacts to be captured so that we can know that we are making progress as a collective. And it is not just the work of CFERI or the department that will enable that sustainability. It's the work of everyone, private sector, everybody that has a role to play in making sure that small businesses are supported at its entirety. To your point, DVC, Jack, it is very important that we start them when they are still at school, when they are not contaminated by what's going on out there, when they have not been out there to learn on their own, but to learn as a group and to share the knowledge. And the fact that they are in a university, that then creates a mindset shift of them being job creators than job seekers. I think our economy is yearning for that. Gone are the days where we go to school, we learn, and we go and look for a job. We have to go to school, we learn a skill, we learn something that we can walk away when we graduate with it and implement that thing out there in the market. That's what the economy is yearning for. We need to build a culture, and I hope this incubator, Dr. Lose, is earmarked to make sure that it can do that. Build a culture of entrepreneurs that are not only gonna graduate as graduates, whether they're doing law, they're doing commerce, they're doing whatever subjects, but they are going to out there, take up spaces, get the opportunities, kick the doors, cut the red tape, and make sure that they absorb as many of their kind as possible. So ladies and gentlemen, the onus is on us in this room collectively to make sure that this incubator that we are bound to launch today is going to stand. And it's going to make sure that it's going to create that passage of young brains, innovation, drive, zeal, all of it, that will pass through the university ecosystem from an entrepreneurship perspective, so that when they go out there in the market, they bring others with them. It's not about impacting the numbers that we have, it's also about creating space for those that are coming behind the cohorts that we're putting in. So what we would like to see from CFERI is sustainability, is more people tapping into the seed that we've planted, so that the seed that we've planted, it yields results year in, year out. And I'd like to leave, ladies and gentlemen, with the phrase that together we can make it happen. We can create an ecosystem that is coordinated, that will support entrepreneurship, which is what you said, Minister, earlier on in your remarks, that we are looking for initiatives wherein we will use the centers of higher learning for innovation, for research, to create solutions that will support or rather solve the problems that we see in our country. And this incubator is one of those, ladies and gentlemen. And I would really like to share our sentiment from CFERI that we've done it and we're still gonna do it again, and we are working hard to create an enabling environment for those who are still standing in the queue. We're not perfect, we know it. We are fixing our imperfections. But with the support of our ministry and the support of the partners that are always holding our hands with us, I think the future is bright. It's just patience, hard work, and everything that we need to do together as a collective. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Chairperson Makanda, for grounding us in purpose and direction. So now we are moving to the next segment of our program, where we will be introducing our incubatee, Mr. Munei Budeti. He will be sharing with us his experience, not just any experience, his lived experience. So let's welcome Mr. Munei Budeti as he's proceeding to the stage to share his experience as a pioneering student entrepreneur within the university. Please proceed to the stage. Let's welcome him. Thank you. Are we all sorted? Thank you. Okay. Thank you. The stage is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the minister, the mayors, the pastor, the director of this institution, the acting vice chancellor, fellow entrepreneurs, VIPs that are here, everyone who's here. Good afternoon. So I'm here to take you through my experience, my journey, how how we did whatever we did when we started this business. So I'm just waiting for them to put up my slide so that I can take you through everything that I've prepared for you guys for this afternoon. But the guy in front of you, my name is Munei Buderi. I'm the founder of Tamatama Driving School, which is based here in Port Elizabeth. I founded the driving school when I was still a student. Now I'm currently working, but still aspiring to study. So I came to Nelson Mandela University 2018 doing my first year. I was studying biokinetics. When I got here, I wanted to do anything related to medicine, not even medicine, health. But I wasn't really interested in that when I got here. So to me, when I got here, it was boring. Then I had to think of something new that I would change, which is even more challenging than what I was doing. Then I applied for civil engineering because, yeah, I passed very good in matric, so I could qualify for so I could qualify for most of the courses that are being offered in this institution. So throughout that year, what I was doing was boring. You know, when you're doing something that you don't like, it gets boring, and you have more time. I'm not saying it was easy for people who are doing it. No, it's not. But to me, it was just boring. So when it was boring, that's when I started looking around here in the city, checking what is happening in the city, what can I start? I'm that one person who just want to make money. Like, I just want to hold money, man. Even now, I want to hold money. You know? So I'm that one person who, at least in a day, I should hold money. Even if it's passing, then I give it to the next person. Then that's good to me. Oh, perfect. My slide is up there. So, yeah, that is me during my graduation. I'm the founder of this beautiful business called Tamatama Driving School. So, Tama, the word Tama means a friend in Venda. I'm Venda, by the way. But when you put it together, it means a good friend. So that's when I noticed, okay, let me use this instead of using my name. Because at the same time, I wasn't doing something for me to be known that I'm the owner of that thing. I was just building a brand, right? So I got here 2018. Then I was doing biokinetics. The following year, I changed. I went to civil engineering. But throughout 2018, that year, that's when I noticed, okay, there is this business that is booming here in the city, which is e-hailing. Uber and Bolt, they were still quite new. I think they came to this city 2016, somewhere there, 2015. But when I got here, there was still an opportunity for that. So I asked my parents to actually get me a car. I'm not from, how do we do this? Sorry. How do we? Show him the money. Sorry. Can I use the computer maybe? So just which one? Which one is forward? Oh, okay, perfect. Okay, thank you. So I asked my parents to actually get me a car so that we can get involved into this business. I am not from a rich family. I am just from an ordinary background. Actually, I'm a person from those families where my dad shares everything. He reveals how much he make, everything. So I'm from a 15,000 rand background salary. So I actually know where I come from. I knew my dad can't just buy me a car. Actually, he has never owned a brand new car, but I want a car. So I convinced them, then they actually got me a car. When I came back second semester, the very same year, I had a new car. So that's where the story begins. They got me a car. Then I came to the city. A lot of people thought, oh, Mune is from this kind of family. He has a brand new car, this and this. But I know at the back of my mind that this car is actually here for business and it needs to pay itself. So I registered the car on the platforms, did everything that I have to do. Then the car was registered. I got the driver, gave it to the driver. Then I started making 2,500 every week, 10,000 rand a month. So I was actually paying that car. My dad didn't have to pay for the car because that was the pitch that I gave to him. And that is where today we are actually here to talk about support. It doesn't matter where support is coming from. It's either from the government, from the university, from all the institutions. It actually works. So we continued that year. Then the following year, okay, I think I've already spoke about who I am. I did civil engineering. Then I also did postgrad in business administration. I'm aspiring to do my MBA in, I don't know, but when I get money. Yeah. So I was still talking about how the business started. So the following year, which is 2019, I bought my second car myself now. I was able to qualify for a car. I bought the second car. I was doing engineering. It wasn't easy to deal with drivers, engineering, all those kind of things. But I was making 20,000 as a 19-year-old boy a month because I was getting 5,000 every week, 2.5 from the other driver, 2.5 from the other driver. But I was paying everything. I think after paying everything, I was left with like 15,000. At home, they didn't even ask for my money because they wanted to see what can I do with the money, you see. But at the same time, I will help them there. So the following year again, which is 2020, I bought my third car. I had 3 cars 2020 before COVID. That's when COVID happened and no one was moving. The cars that I was buying, they were debts from the bank. It wasn't like a cash thing. So COVID happened. Yeah, I knew that, yeah, it's going, the Popesal dance now. It's going to be, I don't know. But I went to the bank. I told the bank, guys, I can't pay your cars. It's either you take your cars or you give us a break. But I think during that period, banks were very lenient with, I don't know, so many businesses, people, because they knew that if they take, they're going to lose at the same time, you see. So they gave me, I think, around about 6 to 8 months grace period of not paying. So that actually helped me so that I can at least plan what can I do next when there is no money, stuff like that. So I had to go home, leave my cars in the city, because anyway, I got them in the city. They remain in the city. I went back home to Venda. So this other day, I was sleeping under the tree. I think I'm a dreamer. Then I thought of starting a driving school business because I've never really seen driving schools around the university. Though they're there, but the thing is when you're not into something, you don't actually see it a lot. But the moment you start investing your time on it, that's when you notice, hey, there's this one, there's this. So I got back into the city because the 8 months is finishing. So I need to get back, and the online studying was happening. It was just hectic. So I told my parents I have to go back into the city. I have to see what to do next. So I got back to the city. I started doing my researches. When I see driving school cars, I will hoot on them, trying to stop them. Some will stop, some will not stop. Ask them, how do you start this business? What is needed? Some people will give you the information. Some people won't give you what is needed in the industry, all those things. But finally, I got what is needed in the industry. So I had this idea since June 2020, but I had to do research for the whole 6 months, even the following year, because my plan was to launch the following year, because even the university was actually promising us that things are going to get better So you're gonna get back to campus. So that's when I knew, okay, this business can actually launch. So 2021, that's when we officially launched the business with the cars that I already have. So it was easy for me. And remember, I was already into Bolt business. I knew a lot of drivers, I knew a lot of people. So we had our stickers in so many cars in the city. So people going around the city, they thought this business is big. Auntie, the business was launched yesterday, you know. So it wasn't big, but the marketing was very big, you know. And it was very cheap, the cheapest in the industry. I don't know what was happening, but it was happening, you know. So we launched the business the very same year, towards the end of year, because I started making a lot of money throughout because we were very cheap, receiving a lot of clients. What I will tell you, which is the truth, is nobody was passing. for that 9 months, no one was passing. And there were so many refunds that are happening. Hey, I want my refund. Hey, I want this. And I understand, and I will give them the refunds, but I knew where I was going, you know. Up to a point where I went to driving school myself. I had a license. I got a license since I was in grade 12, I think. But I grew up driving. So to me, getting a license was just 3 days in Yana, then go test, get a license. How I got it, guys, let's not get involved. But I got the license. So quickly, now people are not passing here, Ekaya. What's happening? My dad will always ask, who passed? Who? People are failing, guys. But we are teaching people how to drive. One thing that I will tell you, people who supported us when we, like the first few months, they actually got a lot of experience of driving because we were actually teaching them in like a funny manner, all those kind of things. But they were not passing, I won't lie. So until I went back to the driving school and say, what are these guys teaching? I want to see. Went to a driving school, pay for 5 lessons, I'd be like, I don't know, I want to go for test. I was lying now. They taught me. Now I'm listening to them. What are you guys teaching? Oh, this is what you teach. This is what gets tested. This is. Then I brought it back to our business. Good. So, without wasting time, how I got my first truck, the very same year, that's when I bought my first truck cash. So how it happened, I posted on my WhatsApp status, like playingly, you know those status you just post, if you post, can someone give me money? I want to buy this. So a friend of mine saw that on WhatsApp status. He commented, I was playing. I saw this truck, the one on the right. It's my left, I think, yeah. The one on the left, I saw it on, I don't know, but online. Then I searched everything. I just posted the truck without price, nothing. Can someone give me money? I want to see something. Then that friend commented, how much do you want? Yo, how much do I want? This guy, a year ago or 2, he was owing me money. I remember for 6 months we couldn't talk because he's owing me money. Then he paid the money, then the relationship continued because it's about money. But now he's asking me, how much do you want? It's someone that I met here in the very same university. He was on the phone, then he was speaking the same language as I. Actually, we're in the same class, so it was so nice. Then I commented after that phone call. Then he said, no, I saw you in class, what. The rest is history, right? So it's someone that I met here. I didn't know this person from, yeah. So he commented, hey, how much do you want? I said, I want 45,000. So the very same day, throughout the day, I received a message from the bank saying, you qualify for 70,000 credit card. Joined, that's when I met the team. Then they take me through their program, everything. Then at the end of the day, they secured sponsors, I think from Vodacom. They got some 2 containers. Then the following year, that's when they decided, okay, we're going to lease out 1 container to you. Let's see what you can make out of that. So that's when things changed. The business started growing, buying cars almost every year. And we were making money, guys. From making maybe 30,000, I started seeing myself making over 100,000, 150,000 per month. It was a lot. It was a lot. Throughout the year, I think that same year that after meeting them, we hit more than 1.5 million annually. So it really changed our business. So, yeah. So we also got money last year, which was 100,000 through their support. The money came in December, where our business is very bad because everyone in South Africa doesn't want to do anything. They want to have nice time, so they don't pay for anything, you know. So the cash flow is really bad in that period. So they gave us money to empower the businesses. We bought new equipment. I think one of my trucks, I have 2 trucks, by the way. So one of my trucks had the gearbox failure. We bought a new gearbox. So that money, we utilized it to actually save the business at that point. Let me quickly wrap up this. So this whole thing, after meeting let's say after being part of the program, that's when I also opened the second branch in Woma. So we have a new branch which we self-finance. We bought a container, have everything, and created jobs. We have over 6 employees, 3 receptionists. Yeah. So I really appreciate being part of this nice institution that is actually discovering talent and supporting young people. I think I can just quickly put the lessons that I have learned throughout my journey is that you start with what you have. It doesn't matter what you have, but you need to start with what you have so that other people can actually support you. You have to stay consistent. You need to seize for opportunities. Me meeting them was actually another step to say, okay, you can do better. You can do something like this. And then you need to believe in your dreams for sure. In conclusion, I would like to actually thank this organization, CEDA, everyone who's sponsoring this whole thing. They actually mean something to us. They are giving us hope. And please continue to give us money. We need money. give us money. Give the institution money so that they can discover more talent. Not only to give money to me, but to give money to everyone else. Because I want to make this example before you cut me quickly. So if, for example, this institution can discover 100 student businesses, those 100 businesses are going to say maybe employ 2 employees each. So that's 200 students plus the owner of the business. So it's 300 people that actually have source of income. So let's say in this institution we have 1,000 students that are, unfunded. But we subtract 200 that is being funded from these businesses. It means we have 800 students. The 800 can get bursaries, university can subsidize. There's so many things that this institution can actually assist us with. So I really appreciate that. So this is how everything is going. And with closing, we are open for business. Please give us money. We actually want to go to all the universities in South Africa. We are giving students experiences. I employ admin students, I employ HR students, logistics students. So we are giving those experience before they go to the real world. So imagine if we are going to be in all the universities. Please give us money, let's partner. Thank you. So he wants actually to know about how many have passed before I go. So this business, at this point, we are passing people almost every day. You can actually search on Google, Tama Driving School. I think it's one of the most passing in PE currently. And it's one of the most with good reviews. Even on following on Instagram, is the most followed driving school. He knows. So please, we are open for business. Thank you for this good. Thank you.
No, I don't thank you. Wow, thank you, Monet. We are truly inspired. Most definitely, we're going to go back to the drawing board and reflect. So thank you so much for your inspiring journey where you have shared your tears that became testimonies, as well for reminding us of the real lives that you've transformed through your business. So thank you so much. Let's give him another round of applause. Before we proceed to the next item of our program, we have an announcement. Lusanda Bandwini, you have lost your hotel card. So please see me after the gathering. If Lusanda Bandwini is here, it's your hotel card, it's with us. Thank you so much. If you can't find me, I will hand it over to the security. Thank you so much. So now we are moving to the next part of our program, which is message of support. So there has been some revised item on the program. So I'm going to call up now our Deputy Minister, Mr. Singh, from the Department of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment, where he'll be sharing his message of support for this gathering. Thank you. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you very much to our program director, Dr. Puleng Moleko Boyce. I understand we have time constraints. We have to finish at 4, so I'm not going to be long, but I think if I may break with protocol, my colleague, Madam Minister and Vice Chancellor and MECs, I want to greet Squealy, Umunei Puteli. He is a squealy in this hall. And Vice Chancellor, I think, instead of you giving him money, he's now in a position to support some of the programs that you were talking about earlier on. So I'm leaving that challenge with you of how you're going to financially support the university so that other students can benefit from these kinds of programs. And I know you will do it because you say you dream, you are a dreamer. So well done. Now, thank you very much, Program Director, and I want to greet my colleague, Honorable Stella Ndabeni. Thank you very much for inviting me to this session of the program. I was at the G20 session, also facilitated by the Minister and the Department, where we were talking about opportunities in the oceans economy. And I must say I was invigorated, I was impressed, and so was she, with the kind of discussions that took place with various role players on how we can utilize these wonderful oceans, which we sometimes don't give a thought to, and how we can get economic benefit while sustaining it environmentally. So it was a great session, and it's all about G20, and it's because of us hosting G20 this year, which is a real great achievement. You know, for South Africa and a country in Africa to be hosting a 1 in 20 year G20 where I think 80 or 90% of the biggest economies in the world will gather here. Those are leaders. Besides, the minister was telling me 150 ministers are going to be invited for some gatherings. I think it's great, and we need to give ourselves and our president and our government a round of applause for that achievement. The G20 acts as a wonderful catalyst for us to get together like this, because there are so many streams that we have to deal with, and oceans economy was one stream. This kind of development of entrepreneurs is another stream. So it allows all of us in the country and from outside the country to focus on these issues moving forward, share experiences with our partners that will come here from outside our country, see how we can get the resources, because important for us is the resources, not only financial resources, but human resources. Training and all other opportunities that we can get abroad are things I think that we'll derive from hosting the G20. You know, Madam Minister and Vice Chancellor, my colleague MEC, Madam Mayor, the Deputy Speaker of the Legislature, Mr. Charlie, Portfolio Committee Chair and distinguished guests, when the safety briefing was being given by you, ma'am, it reminded me when I was a student. And we used to have lecture halls like this. But what used to happen, we used to have doors at the back, 2 doors at the back. And I was waiting for you to say that there are 2 doors at the back. Because as students, we used to come in here and the lecturer used to be here. And I'm talking about many, many decades ago when I was a student. And we'll sit here in the front, a few of us, right here, so she can see us, or he can see us. That time there were more he's than she's lecturing to us. can see us. Oh, Singh is here, so-and-so is here, oh, very good. Then we'll pretend that we're going to the washroom, and we'll go and sit down there, you know. Then they'll look, they'll say, oh, Singh is still here. After the next 10 minutes, back door out. They're not even looking for you at that time. So I was looking for the back door to see how we could escape. But talking about entrepreneurship, I think it's a wonderful initiative, Madam Minister, that you and your department, together with the university, have embarked upon here. Because listening to Mone's story reminds us of the political freedom that we achieved in 1974, where many, many, many of our fathers, grandfathers, heroes and heroines died in the struggle for us to be politically emancipated 31 years ago. But you know, as we say, over 31 years, political emancipation was a lot. It was a big thing then. But if we don't have economic emancipation, then we will be failing as leaders in government. And this kind of program allows for this economic emancipation, allows for us to, maybe in a few years' time or whenever, to say, unemployment is something that we are dealing with. We're bringing it down. Poverty is something we are dealing with. These are challenges that we are faced with in the country, and these initiatives support the kind of challenge. This morning we heard from people involved in the oceans economy, and you know, there are so many, and it was about entrepreneurship. If you think about it, it was about entrepreneurship. My department, which I was not in at that time, I was portfolio committee chair, issued rights, fishing rights, to many people. And there are 71 cooperatives here in the Eastern Cape only. But the question we have to ask ourselves today is, what have those cooperatives done with those pieces of paper? Was it worth the piece of paper written on? Were they given any support? And from whom? For them to be able to become entrepreneurs? And the answer to that question this morning was no. They still need government and all of us to support them so they can become entrepreneurs. So that is our big challenge. Lastly, the government of national unity that we talk about, for us, it's not only a government of national unity. It's a country of national unity that should come about. It's business, it's labor, it's institutions like yourself and government that must unite together so that we can make South Africa a prosperous country, and so that young people, we can have more young people like Moneli prospering. I want to also say that, you know, I learned, when I speak in any university, I say I got my degree at a very young age. I was about 11 years. Gunjailo, Minister, Gunjailo. Yeah. I got a BSc. You know what a BSc degree is? Bachelor of Science, you see? No, mine was behind shop counter. Because I worked in my father's shop. You come from school, you go into the shop, and you go and set things, you clean, you do all sorts of things. So at the end of the week, I was 10 or 11 at that time, I used to see the people in the shop there getting a brown packet. And they open the brown packet and there's some money inside. And I used to say to myself, hey, they are working here, I am working here. Why can't I get money as well? So I went to an old man there, Mr. Moodley was a bookkeeper at that time, very strict. And I said, you know what, uncle? I'm working here in the shop, I want to be paid. So he says, yeah, okay, we'll see what we can do. And then we worked out a wage, it was 5 shillings. So you know my age, where I'm coming from. So it was 5 shillings a week. So at the end of the first week, I'm standing in line with everybody now. And my father is standing there and he's watching. I said, oh, very good. Gave me my packet, I opened the packet. I see about 2 and 6 inside there. I said, how? I went to him, I said, no, you short paid me now. You're supposed to pay me 5 shillings, you gave me 2 and 6. He says, come here. He took out a book, you know, those days they write. Took out a book. 1 packet chips, 1 ice cream, 1 this, 1 that. I said, what's that? He said, those are the things we saw you eating here in the shop. You know? I said, but this is my father's shop. He said, you are a worker here now, this is not your father's shop, so Koka. So you must learn the hard way about what it is to make money and grow, and I'm so glad that you've got this program. Well done, I wish you well in this partnership, and if there's any way our Department of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment can work with you in the maritime area, I'm sure that's something that we'd want to work together on. Thank you very, very much. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Deputy Minister Singh, for your unwavering support. We are about to proceed to our next item, which is the second message of support. We are tight with time. We will appreciate our speakers if they can try and be short as much as possible, but we do understand that the event is very inspiring. So now we are going to call up our next speaker, MEC Nonkubela Peters, so that she can come. She's from the Department of Economics, Development, Environmental Affairs and Tourism. Over to you, Mama.
Thank you, Program Director. It's the Department of Economic Development, Environmental Affairs and Tourism. You cannot grow economy without looking at the environment. You have to balance the two. Let me greet the Program Director, the Minister, Undabeni, my counterpart, UDM Singh, Executive Mayor of Nelson Mandela, Executive Mayor of Amatole District Municipality, and the Executive Mayor of Makana Local Municipality, Dibulise, Acting Vice Chancellor, Mr. Jack, greet the Speaker of Nelson Mandela. Let me also greet the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, all MPLs and MPs that are here, councillors, chairpersons of board and board members, all the important people that are here, more especially the entrepreneurs. Let me greet you in the name of the government of the Eastern Cape. Minister, we're meeting here 2 days after the Freedom Day. And on my way from Matatiel, I was listening to Mhlobo Wenene, and they were asking people, what does Freedom Day mean to you? And others were saying, Mna, I will be able to say I'm free if I can get a house. I'll be able to say I'm free if I can get a job. So everyone was saying whatever that he feels or she feels, and others were saying the right to vote. Because for the first time in 1994, and the person was saying, I was standing in a queue and I voted on the 26th of April. That's what that person said on the radio. So he said, even to criticize government, that is a big thing for me. I am free because now I can be able to say, government, what you are doing is not right. And in the past, we were not allowed to do that. We wouldn't be even here before 1994. And wouldn't be even, Minister, launching what you are going to launch today before 1994. So let us not forget where we come from, because we will know where we are going to. And also, our important person, the young person, Munei, your testimony is inspiring. And as the province minister in June, we are having a roundtable for young people where they will tell us how can we assist them and how can they be part of the economy of this province and the economy of this country. As we know that Eastern Cape, we have quite a number of unemployed people, and more especially unemployed graduates. And then it tells you what you've said in the morning, that means there's something wrong with our system. Why would you have an unemployed graduate doing, saying that I'm an unemployed graduate, whereas you have the knowledge? What is our education system producing? I think I'm a Minister Bingo, OBE, outcomes-based education. City, we want to produce job creators, not job seekers. The future is for you young people. You need to come to the space and be in charge and be part of the economy of the province. That's why we are even saying as this government, let us talk about inclusive economy. Don't leave anyone behind. everybody must be part of the economy. The majority of the people of this country and the majority of the people of this province must not be left behind and be spectators in the economy of their country. But young people, this is the space for you. Don't cry and say, I'm unemployed. Be the employer yourself. We want creativity, we want innovation. We were here, Minister, last year, invited by Ye. Ye is working with, is partnering with ABSA, and they were here partnering with Nelson Mandela. And young people, wow, guys, you underestimate your potential, young people. The ideas, the innovation, because they were competing. And out of that 10, the 10 best were in Joburg. They will compete with the others from other provinces. And 3 from the Eastern Cape win. They won in that competition, and they came back with 100,000 each. And they are still supported by Ye in their businesses. And as the department, we've partnered and entered into an MOA with Ye. Next month, we will be in Walter Sisulu University up here, because if we rotate in the province, we've got 4 universities. We were in Nelson Mandela last year, so this year, at Walter Sisulu, at Butterworth branch, where 200 young people coming from all over the province, they'll be competing. Out of that, 10 is a computer national, and they are going to be assisted by this government and also by Ye to make sure that their businesses are running and they are efficient. And Minister, what you were doing this morning, the Oceans Economy Engagement, talks to one of the priorities of this government and also the priorities of our province. And some of the priorities is manufacturing, and we need young people there in manufacturing, because in manufacturing, that's where you'll be able to create jobs. And agro-processing. Let us not only be the primary producers as the province, but we need to process whatever that we're producing as the province. And oceans economy and digital economy. I know that is very close to your heart, the digital economy. And the economy of the province is depending, is led by the automotive industry. We know and we see what is happening. Some of the OEMs, but some of the OEMs might close shop because of the tariffs and leave the Eastern Cape. What will be left in the Eastern Cape? That's why we are talking about diversification of the economy. That's why we have these priorities. And agriculture, we've said as this province, agriculture is one of the game changers. Tourism is also one of the game changers. As the province, we need to focus on agriculture and the value chain in agriculture. Not only primary production, and also in tourism. And we know that with your department, Minister, we are going to achieve that because you are passionate to go babes where SMM is. And we cannot grow the economy without entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs or SMMEs are the backbone of any economy. And this year, Minister, as this province, we are hosting a very important conference, Yenamak, up Eastern Cape for the first time. And also NAMSA said that they are going to hold their conference, the Auto Week, here in the province. And that will contribute to the economy of the province and also tourism. And these G20 meetings, because this is the third one, coming to Nelson Mandela, funeka si quantify executive mayor Lobishba, imali yenziweyo kwezi round tables, kwi economy yalapha, how much have we contributed kwi economy of Nelson Mandela. So as the department, we support the program, and Munei, You are a big dreamer, that's why you are a winner. Because if you are not a dreamer, you'll never win. And Nelson Mandela University, thank you for the initiative, and the Department of Small Business Development. This is a milestone in the history of the Eastern Cape. Ututata Oliver Tambo, before I sit down. The children of any nation are its future. A country, a movement, a person that does not value its youth and children does not deserve its future. So that's why you are here today, because we deserve our future. We are focusing on young people. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mama. Thank you so much, MEC, for anchoring today's launch in national priorities. Now we are moving to the most important part of the program today, which is our keynote address. So the keynote address is the centerpiece of today's launch. So please join me in welcoming our Honorable Minister, Ms. Stella Ndabeni of Small Business Development. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Asozela phala mandla. Elilizwe lela makhosikazi. Asoze saphela mandla. Asoze aphela mandla. Asoze aphela mandla. Enkosi, Director of the program, let me take this opportunity to greet and acknowledge the different leaders that are here. But of course, Ndioyika uvalelwa amazulu, so I'll start after the program director with Pastor, who prayed for us, because it is important that we get to be linked up with the Creator. As we say, this is the day that the Lord has made. Therefore, let's rejoice. Njalo lapho. So, in everything that we do, we don't forget to give praises to Him. So that's why I start with the pastor who opens up. That way, that in everything that we're going to be saying and doing, God has opened the way. So I then greet the Deputy Minister of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment, my dear brother, Deputy Minister Singh. I greet the MEC responsible for economic development, tourism, environmental affairs. Inkosazana Yamampondo, MEC Peters. I greet the Deputy Speaker of the Eastern Cape Legislature, who said he's stepping out to take a virtual meeting, who's been sitting there. The Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Small Business Development, Siyakhokhelwa betunana nathi, Medkhale, and the Honorable Member there, Umatsulu. Honorable members and the MPLs of our beautiful province, the Eastern Cape Legislature and National Parliament, the host and my dear sister comrade, Executive Mayor Honorable Abisha, and the Speaker of Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality. I don't know if you are observing something. The Executive Mayor of Amatole District Municipality, Honorable Zangani, Executive Mayor of Makanda, a dear assistant comrade, Honorable Vaga, and the MMC for LED in the area. But most importantly, the acting Vice Chancellor, Mr. Jack, and the senior leadership of the Nelson Mandela University, chairperson of the Startup 20. Do you know what's the Startup 20? Do you know what is the Startup 20? Ha, la la batata. All right, Mr. Vianney Jahana, you've heard that we here as we celebrate G20 presidency that is coming to our shores for the first time. Therefore, all the different categories or the engagement groups, if you go to the G20 website, you will get the different engagement groups. So South Africa has also mandated us in terms of government to lead the working group that talks to the Startup 20, which is chaired by one of your own, Mr. Vianney Jahana, representatives from the Small Enterprise Development and Finance Agency in terms of the board members as led by the chair and their management, my Director General and her officials, councillors present, esteemed partners from government and private sector, student entrepreneurs and incubators. Hi guys. How are you? Mfunchomzana. Baba bantu bafuna imali. Bakuphi? Nyamazi ubhekzo. Nyamazi kahle. DJ kuthenga ngathi sibhatelanga la Dr. Loss uzawuxoshwa. Nibambe the next trench guys. Asikwazi ungathi mina ngifuna uba nemali. Eningi. Sifuna nje waleta miqumbe khanda lam lidumbe ngisafuna ukudla inyama. Yona leyo. Size lapha kanye ke singabantu bemali. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, everyone has spoken about the importance of this day. Everyone has spoken about why it is important that learned people become different than people who are not learned. The institutions of higher learning at all times are expected to produce beacons of hope to their own communities. That is why when you do something sinister, people will be like, yo, liqaba eli. I don't know, what do you call it in Limpopo chair? But in Xhosa, we say liqaba, it means you are primitive or an illiterate, let alone that they are digital illiterates nowadays. But that is meant to say there's an expectation from someone who's gone to school. There's an expectation that if parents leave everything they could do and therefore sacrifice that my child, my daughter or son must go to school, they expect a difference in their livelihood. They expect that when mom says that I have a particular pain in this area and you have gone to study, they don't care if you're studying nursing or doctor. As long as you're in the health environment, they expect you to know what causes that pain. They expect you to know when they complain about the challenges in their area, whether we're talking about the infrastructure problems that we have. Whenever entrepreneurs complain, just like we've seen others were talking about the challenges this morning in the oceans economy, they expect a learned person to provide solutions. Because as MEC said, we sacrificed everything, take more than 40% of our budget to education because people must have knowledge. It is knowledge that helps the society, government, and everyone to be able to make informed decisions. This is why at all times, those that are in leadership and in business, doesn't matter political leadership or business, they must stay informed at all times so that they can stay relevant to the cause. Because the minute they're not informed, then it means those that are responsible for policy, they will not know how to develop an evidence-based policy that must respond to the challenges of their communities. And entrepreneurs that are not informed, it tells you that they will never innovate or produce anything. They will continue being resellers, entrepreneur. We are in the business of promoting entrepreneurship. And I tell this to everyone, Mr. Jack. When I go to meetings that we've invited business people, and then they start behaving otherwise, and they complain, Masbala is not giving us tender, And I always stand up and say, I am a minister of small business development. I'm not a minister of entrepreneurs. I appreciate that you start by, because what you have, you can then buy from another person to resell. But I expect you, if you are taking yourself serious, to invest your money in business and therefore by producing. So that whenever any other country or any competitor decides to declare war with you, and you are dependent on him in terms of the commodities and whatever that you need from them, you can stand on your own and be able to be successful in business. That's why the theme of the G20, as you see, talks to sustainability. Because if you don't know the ecosystem, you can't be sustainable. You stay relevant by understanding that there's a challenge of water in Nelson Mandela in terms of the billing system. Therefore, I have an idea that I think our parents are suffering from the billing system. There might be something wrong with this billing system. And you take interest into saying, I'm going to develop a technological system. I'm going to bring with software engineers and. And then you test it, pilot for free. Because you are testing the innovation that you believe in order to resolve a challenge. So smart business people that make it their business to understand what are the problems. They don't bother about solutions that people are providing. I'm going to provide the solution. No. That's not where their money is. They look at what is it that people are complaining about. People every day in Nelson Mandela, make an example, they complain that, DM, you gave us this fishing rights, but we don't have money to have boats so that we can get more money when we're fishing in the deep, whatever, of the sea. And the smart entrepreneur says, oh, okay, I see you. Let me go to CFERI, let me go to the CFERI, which is here in our institution, if you are a student here or a member around the area, to say, there are people who are complaining. I think the boat can help them, but who makes boats? What are the available resources? What do I need to make a boat? Who else can add value to the boat making? And therefore, how do I provide a service in order to deal with the challenge that they face so that they can make more money? And that minute an entrepreneur goes to those cooperatives with all those fishing rights and say, I know you have a problem and I'm here to solve it. That time, any money. She's just looking at the clientele, a potential market that will give him or her that letter of intent to say, if you get this boat, we will use it. Because they do want to fish more valuable fishes. By that time, he didn't have a boat. You listen to, why am I going to mess up your name now? The entrepreneur, Budeli. Yes. As you listen to him narrating his story, it's about starting. And this is why our department is called the Department of Small Business Development. You had Skim Sampa, so, NAFCOC. And every time I tell this story, I tell it in order to challenge everyone who is in a venue that I'm speaking in. The department that I'm responsible for currently is the department that was established because of people who had a vision, people who looked around themselves at what government has done, but also at what government has not done in terms of the challenges that business development was faced with. And then they said, we don't think government has taken a good decision by leaving everything under the Department of Trade and Industry. We do believe that if government wants to turn things around, government must set up a dedicated department that must look into the development of small and medium enterprises, including the cooperatives. And this is how this department was born. So we are turning 11 this year. As the department, I know people want to compare us with Home Affairs and all the other go-goes there. We're still very young. As I said, we turned 10 last year, so we're 11. But why am I narrating this? I'm narrating this to tell you that when we are organized, we can become deliberate on the interventions that must be brought into our country by the governments that we vote for. When we are organized, we're able to provide solution to society's challenges. That is why, as you take pride in the fact that you are in an institution that was led by famous heroes, Nelson Mandela, who never studied here, but to name the university, because you recognize the role that he played. And then you begin to say, what is it that we can do differently in their honor? I mean, like some of us had parents that never went to Excel as old as they were. There are many others here that they were enjoying all the benefits that were there at the expense of others. But we don't judge, we listen and read. So as we do that, we then begin to say, what are the challenges that are facing South Africa today? I said it's important that institutions of higher learning produce beacons of hope. The minute now we're saying, what are the challenges that are facing South Africa today? We expect the university to be producing skills and knowledge that is responsive to those challenges. That is why we always complain, as I think what was MEC who was repeating what I said in the morning, how embarrassing it is, or how sad it is actually, when you hear a person who stands there with a BCom. I'm unemployed, higher graduate with a gown. Bachelor of Commerce. There's something wrong with that, which is why we're saying as government, there's a need for us to review the content we provide, because we can't continuously spend money for people who are going to stay at home and not work. The National Development Plan that was adopted in this country says South Africa must create 11 million jobs. And out of the 11 million jobs, it says 9 million will come from small enterprises, not because I'm the minister. It's what was adopted before my time. Now, this tells you that the burden to create jobs is to small enterprises. This is why you see us saying, if we have that appreciation as a department specifically established to develop small businesses, I tell my team, they know when I fight with them. When they complain about whatever of the entrepreneur decline applications and people complain, and I'm like, you are the only ones that are here to develop. When you decline an application of someone, you're supposed to tell why. Because it is through that person knowing what is the mistake or the omission that they made that they will be able to go back, fix it, and come back and apply. No other department has that responsibility. Now, that development starts at ideation phase. When you're dreaming of wanting to be so-and-so who has money or doing this and that, how do we walk that journey with you in order to build from that idea, take it to the different phases, the prototype, and then we take it to the market? This is why we establish the CFERIs and the other incubators. The chair of CFERI did talk about the incubators. We have established 120 incubators throughout the country, Chairperson. When we're coming for the budget votes, just know. And we've been deliberate in putting others in the universities and TVET colleges. CP Scheme Samse, Alan Gray, the winners there, KSD. Hi, my people. Those are my winners there. Because we do realize that we may be producing some knowledge at the university, but there's a need also for skills-based in terms of the artisans that are the key drivers in the economy. Because one thing about entrepreneurship and growing economy, it is a tripod leg. It has those who are not learned, but talented enough to just come and fix your car without them going to school. But even though they're able to do that, as Ubudela again was saying, they started driving and then they had not gone, they saw the need to go to school. The framework, the importance of it. So as much as they can be able to make cupboards, do this and that, because it's talent that God gave them, but there's a need to attach that into the framework that will be responsive and lead them to commercialization, which is why the education aspect is important. Then you have those that must be told, you go and do this. Not that they don't know how to, but they didn't think that they must do it. And now in entrepreneurship, without those three important, those who know how to do, but don't know the framework, and those that need to be taught are very important aspects that drive the economy. If you have all of that, that's why when I speak to people, I tell them that I'm the minister that starts in your bedroom and your garage. Because by the time you're laughing at Papa Penny and his English, that's an entrepreneur making money. And you're busy focusing on English. He makes more money the more you go in the channel and you open the channel. There's a lot that we can learn if we collaborate, which is what brings us here to this institution. President Ramaphosa says the other day he meets us as the people of the Eastern Cape, the leadership of the Eastern Cape, or from the Eastern Cape. He then says, you know, Ndombi, you guys come from the home of the legends. Eastern Cape is legendary. We want to see that now. It is great that we talk of the stories that Nelson Mandela, Walter Sisulu, Owar Tambo, Winnie Madikizela Mandela, and many others, the stories that they made. But what is it that we're doing differently to build from that they laid for us? Yes. So that we too can be able to say South Africa changed its own economic status because of the contributions that we made. Now, when we gather in universities coming from different provinces and different countries, how do we share knowledge amongst ourselves, including expertise? Those exchange programs that we undertake, what is that we learn from that must make a difference in the areas that we are in? So as we put others in incubation, indeed, to help them with the framework, expose others to the technologies, which is something that, as the department, we are working on in terms of remodeling our incubators, because we don't want them to be shared office spaces. We want an incubator to be an incubator that an entrepreneur that lives here should be knowing where to go to when they need to apply for whatever finance or whatever intervention. They should be knowing that if I'm coming here and I'm going to start a driving school, what are the legislative prescripts that govern transport? Not to have people who know how to do, but they're not cautious of what happens in their own environment, and therefore the contribution that they're going to make. The first thing I like making an example on the ignorance of the learned is the fact that the learned doesn't, most of the time, they don't see the need to participate in the legislative development process. I can ask the professor here, how many times has she attended the meetings by the ward councillor? I can ask many people here, especially entrepreneurs, until it hits them. When the municipality says you can't do that, the bylaws are prohibiting you. Or when you want to apply for certain incentives and they say, bring 1, 2, 3. And now you complain, this government is useless. You didn't even bother to go into detail, but what gives them that right? Because I know the Constitution, if you know, I assume. Which section will be talking to protection of my rights as a person who wants to trade, your section 22 and all of that. And you look into that to say, are these people infringing on my right, therefore, because right? But if you don't know what the Constitution talks about, you're not even able to challenge a system, which is the difference between us and those that came before us. I tell this, maybe it's the 4th, 5th, 20th time that those that came before us made it their business to understand the system. And they knew that it was the law that was used. Whether it's separation of families, whether it's taking of the land, and it was the law. That's why most of them studied law. Because when you have visionaries, they look at the problem and what are the causes of this problem. You can never do that if you don't understand the ecosystem. That's why it's important for you to understand the ecosystem. I want to open a spaza shop. What regulates the spaza shop, even if you have money? Because there's issues of compliance, so that tomorrow you don't find inspectors closing your spaza shop and you complain, this government wants to take me out of business, but you're not compliant. That's why we emphasize the importance of the ecosystem understanding by the different parties that are there. And as I said, most entrepreneurs and academics are very ignorant when it comes to that. I get paid to make the law and speak. So I'll speak the law, right? Because I've seen the law empowering people. At the same time, I've seen the Lord disempowering people. This is why I make it my business to say, I'm going to be a different one in this portfolio. I'm going to try to promote active citizenry for the people to make informed decisions, for the people to understand why it's important when a minister and MEC and everyone has issued a gazette on policy that they must make inputs. For the people to understand that when Parliament says we're going to public hearings, they must know that it is important because it is the law that will bind them. It doesn't matter how much budget you have, Papa, in your bank account. It doesn't matter how many degrees you have. The law is the law. I've been to countries where people, learned as whoever, and then their salaries are determined by people who don't even understand what it is that they're doing. As a result, they're not getting the same salaries. And this is the price that we pay for ignorance. Now, mine is to focus on developing small and medium enterprises so that we can grow the economy and create the 9 million jobs. So I want to invite all of you seated here, as we've already taken a step towards entrepreneurship, because most of you that are here as incubatees, it's because you've taken a decision, and that's a bold decision to want to start something that you've never had. I don't need any other Nelson Mandela outside you who looks around, see the challenge, you're like, I'm going to do it without nothing. But you get determined that I'm going to go acquire knowledge that must help me advance this idea that I have. I don't know if you don't call those people the real economic freedom fighters. Who else can be a real economic freedom fighter? If you don't have people who sit and say, it doesn't matter if it's raining, it's stormy, it's whatever, but I'm going to do this, I'm going to wake up and go and sell. I'm going to wake up and put my posters that I'm going to run this salon no matter what are the challenges. And whilst they continue to knock, drop leaflets, and they continue to submit applications in our offices, and sorry, I don't have an appointment. You don't have an appointment, I can't see you. But tomorrow they wake up again. They never give up. I come and say, submit applications. We have these interventions. We're advertising for Asset Assist if you need equipment. Asset Assist that goes to 250,000 rands worth of equipment. And you don't get it this time, and they don't even acknowledge your application. But you don't stop what you are doing because you started it without them. For me, those are the real heroes and heroines as we celebrate this freedom. I'm looking forward to having that kind of a capable army that has that resilience for us to see things changing in South Africa. People who don't throw tantrums when things are not going well. People who know that one day I'm going to make it and have all those trucks and everything, and I'm going to be an employer. And as I said, you can never be a successful one if you don't understand your ecosystem. If you don't make sure that you empower yourself with information. That's why being busy babes goes when they like it. I get rata kopozana yo. Shepherdson. Mtandu gobos. We are the internet generation. How do we make it work for us? Yes, we can open MSC, the factories in Dimbaza and. But really it is that technology is there, and we need to really invest in additive manufacturing, that we don't have people who must repeat the mistakes of the past regime, that we must have people who don't accept that they can be left behind during this fourth industrial revolution era. But again, you can never be effective participants if you don't know what is it about. What are the drivers of the economy? With a beautiful ocean, lots of institutions of higher learning Eastern Cape has. People talking about data storage. Would it kill you to think that, you know what, we know the environmentalists are going to come on our case, and these data centers are consuming so much, and we know at times we have challenges of electricity. Can't we use the sea to put a boat and use it as a data center? Just thinking out of the box. And to say, we're sitting here, we hear Mr. Jack saying they are rebranding themselves as an African entrepreneurship hub, did you say? And then you begin to say, how best can you leverage on what Nelson Mandela did, the university that is named after that man? How do you use that name? How do you use the legacy that has been built by African presidents that started in this province, that are leading in their countries with some liberation movement, to commercialize what you want to achieve and build on that the best brains in artificial intelligence to be found here, collaborating with other African universities, provide solutions to the challenges that are faced by our people. Okay, so mine is just to trigger your thinking, right? I know we get to be comfortable times, and I like to say the things that you don't want me to say. I'm here to say, start taking your counselor serious. It's very important, because your counselor and the others that attend the meeting can mess up your life. Whilst you are here as entrepreneurs, you can get all this training and knowledge and support from this university by the minute you get out. The law may be prohibiting you. I said this morning, I've listened to many people who would say, usitela into ayazi yokuba mhle. Wavala nini lama spaza shop lama foreigner. And if you have observed, I have not been taking interviews in the previous years until last year on spaza shops, because I felt like, you know, you get shocked. Okay, you can hear it from other people. When you hear, there's a learned people, man. They can't be saying such things. So when did I become a Minister of Home Affairs now? That I regulate exit and entrance of people in the country. I'm a Minister of Business. I regulate business, not the entrance. And this is when you have an appreciation of the fact that we may think that we have done well, but we still have an uninformed society. We still have lots of digital illiterates that, although they participate in the digital space, but they have not made it their business to understand the importance of understanding the digital economy and how to use the information that they get from it. And it is important that we understand that data is the currency. As we all flock into the internet and the different platforms, sharing this and that, just know that somebody's making money with that. Data is the new oil. How much you give out there and what you give is what people will use against you, and they'll be making money because you want to know. My team always don't understand when I'm like, no. Why do they want to partner and then they take the platform? Because that platform is the data, that data belongs to me, because it must help government make informed decisions. Because when you have good data analysts and collectors and everyone, then you begin to say, we know that in this institution that we're in, there's 12 girls that are sexually active. Therefore, we will determine the number of men, the assumptions that are made. And then as you look at that, you begin to say, are they in contraceptives? You see when they have infections and everything, it means they're not engaging in sexual protection. You then assist the Department of Health in planning, because already there's a trigger on the other side. How many people have been to hospital that are pregnant? Then you're preparing the Department of Education, the ECD level, to say, Minister, start planning in the next 3 years. You're going to have a group of young people who are coming and would have to enroll for ECD. And that's informed by the data that people collect. That's why in my previous life I had said, we really need to build a capable four-year army and produce not less than 1 million data science-related skills. Because without that data, we'll continue to produce policies and interventions that are not evidence-based, but it means on the planning side, we may be missing lots of the things. So that's why I'm saying, as we're sitting here as entrepreneurs, as supporters, or in the ecosystem, it is important that we always try to be relevant. And the only way to stay relevant is not only by you knowing. It is about the community that you built, you sharing the knowledge and the expertise, just like Nelson Mandela and his friends did when they realized that it is the law that excludes them, and their parents, they went to school to study the system, the law. They did not become selfish like me and you. Hi, I'm a professor. Hi, I'm a master's candidate. Hi, I'm a whatever holder. They use that knowledge to to challenge the system and change the status quo in South Africa. This is why we're here today. It's people who have acquired knowledge. They've gone to university not to collect certificates to brag. They came to get knowledge. They used the knowledge to break the apartheid system. They broke it into pieces. Now it is up to us. What do we do about that? Or we'll continue being Omar Resela. What is, no, I'm married. Oh, okay, what does it mean to, no, it's in business. What business? It's important because business is trade. I want you to hear me very well, because people buy tata wrong every time I make this example. Business is sustainable business. It's done exchange of trade, and you get whatever that you're trading with, right? So we open procurement opportunities for people to come and participate so that they can get access to the market. But when they get access to the market, we expect them to use that money to reinvest in productive businesses. If you were a civil engineer, you get into a road construction business, we expect you to say, okay, now I understand this part. I'm not going to be taking everything to a consultant to a point that I see that there's a need to invest in the quarries, because you must own at least one component in your business. It's important. So that when COVID hits, when geopolitics, they take the other shape, we don't say we're closing shop. But we know that we can stand our ground and say we are not going to be bullied in the true sense of not being bullied, because we would have produced what we need. And the first thing is to look at food that everybody needs, learned, unlearned, rich, poor, slender, fat. Everybody has to eat. People must be clothed. That's the first market you look at. People must be transported in order to do trade and access services. You will never go wrong with those businesses. But you will go wrong if you have a community that does not believe in itself that he or she can produce it. If you have a community that says, we can't buy cabbages from here, we've got to go to that particular shop to buy. And that shop buys from her, exploits her, because they're going to be saying, we're buying in scale. So give us discounts. And because one does not have market, therefore they are forced to hand over whatever that they are doing. Those people are killed by us when we don't support small businesses, that they are forced to go and give away everything because they also need to survive. When you see lots of tech students or tech startups abandoning the ship, their products being bought by big business because government is not there, their society is not there. As I was listening to Budeli, he says he got support from home. And it's not like we don't do that. We buy cars for our children. We throw 21st birthday to give the key. We do umigidi for Rabafana. We spend a lot on those things. But we don't think that we can commercialize this. Say, yes, we love savannah so much we see, because you can't have a pattern, there's no savannah, darling, it's the truth. But how do we then make sure that we benefit from this savannah that makes people so happy, even if we plant apples? Because savannah is made from apple cider. And as I'm telling you right now, they source apple cider from China. And where are the drinkers? Do you think they're in China? They're here. China have seen and studied everything. Then they said, oh, these ones are farmers. What do we have? The brains and the money. Let's go lock them into these agreements. So we want to buy your farm, supply us with so many hectares, and everybody gets happy because it's access to market. And then they get their money. They're happy every month, every season, they get whatever. And then those ones, they are smart. They're like, people of South Africa, they love savannah. And the savannah, they need apple cider. So we are going to process these apples. It comes back. They send apples, as we do with minerals and other things. So we send it raw. And it comes back as apple cider. And then you get your savannah, and you get so happy. The second aspect, which is the first market, if you yourselves are the first market, every weekend, There's a party, there's a funeral, there's a wedding. And people of this province slaughter a lot. They love to look good. They don't want fake leather on their feet and whatever. They want real leather. But the irony, have you seen when they slaughter the cow, they leave the skins there? But they want leather clothes. And they complain of unemployment and poverty. And they love good wool. What is it called? More hair. They slaughter sheep every day. They love good bags. But they don't think about those sheep. The processing element. How do we, as we look at the challenge that we face, we make it our business to understand the ecosystem, to say, this fried sheep that I love so much, I was told, babes, a Kentucky fried chicken. So these fried potatoes and this meat that they love so much, what are the ingredients? What are they made of? And then what can we do, starting with our local economic development policy and strategy, to say, we're going to be giving this land to whoever that is coming to invest. They're putting a mall, because we love malls so much that our businesses are closed. As you put them, there's nothing wrong with putting malls, because people, they must have access to buying. But at least you set rules that say 40% of that space will be given to local entrepreneurs. Because they're not going to afford those rental fees in the malls. But they are doing something. They just don't have finances to go and rent that space, which is why you'll find them in the townships, or they'll end up selling because they want access to more market. But the malls that we continue to build are not giving them that privilege. And the law does not favor them. And they're not favored by the law at times because they don't participate in the development of the law. Because if they were participating in the LED development policies, they would make it a requirement to say, municipality, protect us. That if you're going to give, you're going to say 40% of whoever that comes here, whether it's government or private sector, 40% of these goods. We know that if you're putting a fruit and veg shop, we can produce so much. The law, using the law to address the challenges and build a sustainable economy. The second aspect that Nkosi yami uThixo azasincede kuyo, ngoba sibuye ePaskeni bugqwirha, that people deliberately know that there's the Maxhosa works so hard to have his brand recognized internationally and everywhere, but they go and buy Maxhosa with 1,000 rand at Chinatown, Latagat. Hlukanani nokuthakatha. Kibulo yentwe, che. People must stay away from that. This is the same mentality that McDonald's and KFC will then advertise to say, we need a supplier that will will supply us with 50 bags of potatoes. And people will not be able to provide McDonald's. That McDonald's, they will have to go to Bloemfontein or Cape Town to get potatoes. Because you are selfish, because you're producing 5 bags. You don't think that you must go to the other one that has 2 and the other that has 10, and then you provide the 50 every week. And then you begin to benefit. You spend the Ramza money every time you get your NSFAS, you go to whatever restaurant that you love, but at least you know that there's a contribution that I'm making to the community, because these potatoes or whatever has been sourced from the local and therefore uplifting our communities. And this is what we expect from entrepreneurs who come from university, the beacons of hope. To say, how do we really help our people acquire knowledge that must challenge the status quo? You know, you must disrupt, man. You must disrupt, you know. Disruptors survive. I know they don't become popular like myself. But when you disrupt the disruption, everybody gets to know that there's a disruptor. And this is how innovations thrive. Because that time you bring your innovation, they will be fighting you like others that Vijay used to work for. So they will be fighting you for that innovation. They will try to squeeze you, drop prices, do this and that. But if you are determined and the communities support you because they believe in your idea, because without that support, then you're not going to be able to thrive. So an economy is driven by innovative entrepreneurs, not resellers, not tenderpreneurs. You use the tender opportunity because you have invested in your business and therefore you have this product that you must exchange with government or the private sector because you have the product. Not entirely depend on waiting for the tenders. Sevan, I'm talking to entrepreneurs, right? The supporters of entrepreneurs, go home and teach your kids and their communities never to leave your kids, your siblings when you're doing business whilst you are buying bread for them with the money from business. You can't take pride in that. Hey, my daughter, bonanje, we graduate in a public admin. No, don't, whatever. And fundanga mnandi mbona. So unalendo, and you proudly announce the qualification that one has, but that qualification is not adding value. Budeli here says, we're giving an opportunity to graduates here. Here, those are entrepreneurs. It's fortunate was in school. We have entrepreneurs who have never been to school, but they're using learned people because they know business. For it to be professionalized and successful, you need learned people. It's okay when they're waiting to be employed. You guys must go and employ them because they're waiting to be employed. I mean, like, Sterling was done. But if an entrepreneur that does not have that appreciation and you think you can do everything by yourself, your business is going to collapse. You may be a civil engineer, but running a business in the transport sector needs you to understand law and all the other rules, which is why it's important to work with others. And this incubator presents that opportunity to the entrepreneurs to say, you can't be an all-rounder, therefore, the other people that are here will help you with research, will help you with ABCD, so that your business can become successful. We're hosting G20, ne? All right. So, you are presidents, do you know that? Bo president. You don't know? It's South Africa, guys. It's the president of G20. Who's South Africa if not you? Now, presidents, in July, we're going to be hosting a ministerial round table session, okay, all the English of the learned people. But we're going to have 150 ministers from 150 countries throughout the world gathered in Gauteng with a group of entrepreneurs in order to look at the challenges, regulatory, policy, finance, and the other things that affect small businesses. I want to invite you to apply and become part of the SU20. Did you hear me when I asked you about SU20? Startup 20, just like G20. Now, they've launched a website for those that want to participate in that platform. It's www.su20sa.org. There's no Z, right? All right. .org, hence SA there. It's important, the domain name authority. One day we'll talk about the economics of the internet when we have time. So there they are looking for individuals that have knowledge in the different task forces that they have that are looking at building the ecosystem of startups. But most importantly, one of the things that we'll be doing this year is to host G20 Awards. As we host G20 Awards, we would love to have incubators competing in terms of sustainable entrepreneurs that graduated from a particular CFERI, including those that are inside in terms of the products that they've developed when they are in the incubators. And we get to exchange, I said it's 150 countries, not only limited to G20. It's 150 countries that we are bringing. That's access to market. The power of networking. That's why I'm saying I'm inviting you to try to participate on those platforms. We're doing this because we know that the challenges that we're faced with as the country are challenges that do not only affect us as South Africa, but they affect the entire world. You see what is happening with the big economies. You see that there's going to be a change of things. Whatever it's going to be, it's amubish for now, but it's going to get a shape after some time. But we don't want you to be left behind in those bilateral agreements that we want to sign. Exploiting opportunities presented by the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement is what we want you to do. So we're giving that opportunity to showcase what is that you have been doing, including pitching for your great business idea. And the final step is that those will be presidential awards. So all the heads of states will be the ones that are doing whatever that must be done. This presents an opportunity for you. I told the mayor that they're gonna start with the mayoral awards, mayoral awards, because they have entrepreneurs in your respective area. So the team led by Didi Judelwa and others, they are going to be engaging the provinces. I'm gonna give them 14 days because this is the task that they knew from December, and I have not seen. They may have already reached out. So they will be writing. So the competition starts at a local level. We do this because we do not want to leave anyone outside. We want to make sure that entrepreneurs in their respective areas can compete against each other, healthy competition, and then they go to compete at the province in the Premier's Awards, and then the final leg is ours, the Presidential Awards. We are looking forward to seeing entrepreneurs from this university. When we were at my previous life once more, we used to have competition, we partnered with Huawei, and we had a program that was called Seeds of the Future, Seeds for the Future. Is there anyone who ever participated in that? But we targeted computer scientists and all the students. So they will compete, and the top 10 will be taken to go to China. They compete up to national level. The top 10 will be taken to China, and guess what? Every time as government, I'll get below top 10 because the top 10 is taken by the private sector. And then you come and say, I'm a CIO of this department. I'm like, okay, what's the digital transformation thing that we have seen in your portfolio? And we don't see much because they've taken the cream of the crop because we are not investing in startups that are innovative. So this community arrangement that Budeli talks about of being supported by a person who has once assisted is what we need in order to deal with the funding challenge that entrepreneurs are faced with. Because government is not going to be able to provide everything. Government provides or produces only 30% to the GDP. 70% is in the hands of the private sector. This is why we need the community to come together. In the Stockfells that you do, all that alcohol that you buy, you can use that money to invest in a business, get a share, the venture capital fund that we're talking about. Start thinking about those in this environment, especially in a university. You can start doing those things and you'll be able to fund each other and rotate so that you stop complaining about other people. No, they drop the price. No, they drop the price, gas pass the shop and the other things because they work together. They know that Stockfells are not only for alcohol. Yes, they will do it for alcohol so that they can sell to you. But you must also learn to do that as you consume. Make sure that there's a part that you can really claim. So we are here to launch this, and you have heard the stories, the great stories that the CFERI has produced. You've heard of the great partnership, the university's plans, and the MEC in terms of the provincial plans. And we are here to say, in us, you have a partner. We're looking forward to walking this journey with you, a journey that must change the shape of the South African economy, to make sure that we leave no one behind. Thank you, Program Director.
Thank you so much, our Honorable Minister, for your powerful words and bold vision for an entrepreneurial future. Thank you so much. Now we are moving to our next item, almost close to the finish, vote of thanks. We are about to call our Executive Mayor of Nelson Mandela Bay, Ms. Babalwa Lobisha, to help us deliver the vote of thanks and close the formal remarks that were shared with us. So let's give her a round of applause as she's proceeding to the stage. Thank you. Thank you, Mama.
Let me first greet our program director. Sekuphelele nelizwi talking ngoku. Kozawuvela elesidoda. Let me first greet our program director, Dr. Puleng Moleko Boyce, our honorable minister, Undabeni. Thank you so much, Minister. and also our Deputy Minister Singh, our chairperson of committee. If as now acknowledge Mama, inganga ambi right le oversight work. Ndiyadlala. And as well, let me also acknowledge our district mayors, Mayor Vacha, no Mayor Nsangane, Speaker of our council, Speaker Johnson, our MPL, Mr. Honorable Pretorius, and also acknowledge our acting Vice Chancellor, Mr. Jack, Dr. Lose, the CFERI chairperson and fellow board members, and the DG, Mrs. Manzana. I think Manzini, I'm sorry. Truly, it's the second time this I know it's offensive to others, but Minister, I think it's the second time you are ascending to our region with CFERI for commendable deliverables. We must applaud the board and chairperson of the committee, because you were together even later in the year for the development of our small business owners. And we note the impact it has done, because as we are trying to take stock of the spaza shops we have, your deliverables are also counted in as a part of the resources that already are in the process of turning around our local economy. We are of the view as the city that without focusing on this spaza shop economy, we would have failed, because there's a lot of value chain attached to it. And with us having a fresh produce market, which our locals are not directly tapping on, and with us not harnessing the produce of our local farmers, such that there's enough food security, would have failed your mandate as the ministry. Secondly, Minister, earlier today, we were able to captivate a lot of insights around the oceans economy, ideas that came forth, and also the potential and strategic direction that we ought to focus on for our city to prosper. And we are of the view that it was a beautiful platform that left us with an indictment to maximize on the partnership we have with NMMU. We know that we've signed it since 2013, but we have not maximized on it. And a lot of development and graduates have been produced by the university. But how we take that to the benefit of the locals, and how that will translate to this launch of this entrepreneurship incubator, is also part of what we are committing to as the city to take forward as our meeting is still unfolding with the university acting Vice Chancellor. I think as well, Minister, let me take this platform to also engage our local SMMEs and the university, citing that this launch comes at an opportune time for our region and for our country, as one would understand that we are now forced to look at how we position ourselves for us to be the solution of the export industry. a lot is going to be affected by the deliberations of Trump and his punitive, I'm going to call them punitive, these new tariffs, because they touch a lot on what we produce within the auto sector and also within the agricultural sector. So this launch comes at a time when we must be able to think how best do we produce our local tires, which will have a company that will be producing such locally for the cars that are driven in our region to be more competitive than what is produced in India. And as well, if we are saying we are a construction site, how best do we make sure that a cheaper cement is produced locally? And it's innovators and entrepreneurs that are going to come with that solution for us. And therefore, Acting VC, we have a lot to discuss in weeks to come, because I know our meeting is still pending, and it seems like we'll have to have the whole day so that we rechannel our people. We've taken a conscious decision that we've got to channel our people. Otherwise, if we are saying we'll wait for entrepreneurs to come and they never come, as we are changing each and every administration in government, our dreams and wishes for being delivered by a democratic dispensation, they thin every time there's a new administration. So we've got to get those who are conscious to channel people where we want economy to get to. And I think small businesses still would play a major role in doing so. And this entrepreneurship incubator is also going to play a major role in advancing such. So we thank you very much, Minister, and the university and CFERI. How we wish that we can offer you your offices here so that you make you make all your decisions will be based on the needs of the region. When you are here, you will see everything and be able to spend all the budget in our region. So I just want to promise the minister that after every event that we host, we do make an economic analysis and do post it on our website. Even on this 2-day visit, we do. Even on the G20, we do. On rugby, as from Thursday, we know we ought to make that analysis. Please go and support the under-20 for rugby. That will be playing at Stadium. Our tickets are free. Go buy tickets. Lastly, Minister, I think on a lighter note, before I sit down, now that we are in a lecture hall, VC, what do we do? Must we analyze what Monet, must we overanalyze or what do we do? The fact that if you have passed in Limpopo and you come here, you must rewrite your driver's license, or what do we do? Now that we are in a class, what do we do? Papa, thank you.
Thank you so much, Executive Mayor, Ms. Lubishe, for your commitment to the local economic development and inclusive growth within the Nelson Mandela Bay. We truly appreciate your support. Now, my role as the program director has come to an end. I am going to hand over to the director of the Center of Entrepreneurship, Dr. Tobekani Lose, it was definitely a pleasure to serve you as a program director, but Dr. Lose is going to lead us to the next part of the program, which is the center tour and the stall walkabout, where our incubatees, they'll be exhibiting their businesses. Following that, it will be the ribbon cutting ceremony. Then we will conclude our program. Let's give Dr. Lose, as he's proceeding to the stage. Thank you. As well, give yourself a round of applause. You are amazing. Thank you.
Wow, what a beautiful event, colleagues. Honorable Minister, DP, MPs, members of Parliament, CFERI Executive, CFERI Board, Chairman of the G20, distinguished guests, incubatees, organizing committee. I don't know if you know our VIP, the theme of the day. So that was an entrepreneurial university. So under the leadership of our acting VC, so Nelson Mandela is striving to be the entrepreneurial university. What is it to be an entrepreneurial university? So most of our curriculum program that we do should be geared towards entrepreneurship. So I'm happy to say that we are leading one of the few, I don't even know, through my literature, a university that is actually all the campus cafeteria on campus are run by students. So when you go through, there's one that is employing 11 students, is turning over around 300,000 a month. So it's something that I think, Minister, is very important that we duplicate across all of the universities in South Africa. And also one of the moments as well, led by Sir LJ, our acting VC, will be launching our first ever Chancellor's Entrepreneurship Fund. So the Chancellor's Entrepreneurship Fund, so we're going to fundraise. So all that money that is being made there will go 100% towards our incubators. So it's happening this year, so please attend. So as we move towards the program, colleagues, I think it is very important just to note one aspect. So I was working closely with my team, but one of the key members of the team is not here today. She lost her father, Karen Sneyman. So if we could just bear a moment of silence. Thank you. So this is part of, when one fallen hero is just handing over, because this morning she just called us to say that, hey, unfortunately I lost my father. So can you please, colleagues, carry on? I'm sure that you'll manage. So that's how the university has tasked us to ensure that work is not centralized around one individual, but it's a teamwork. So for today, though, you can call me Prof. Oga Igwe. So when I was actually yesterday I landed from Nigeria. So when you land there, something that is normal there, they ask you, hey, do you have something for your brother? Like, what? Something for your brother? So I think that's the culture they are having. So with that being said, I think I have something for our VIP. So, okay, lastly, I'm going to tour you. So please, our VIP will be in front so that we tour you around our student entrepreneurs. And then from there, we're going to go to the famous occasion to cutting of the ribbon. So if please, I know our marketing director is here, wanted the group photo of the VIP, and also you're going to get something. Can you please, colleagues, if you stand, I'm not sure you can come and take this, just to take a group photo. And then from there, Minister is going to lead us to the venue. So, I don't know. So you have something. So can you please remove this? Yeah. Colleagues, please remain seated. Let's just finish this occasion. So please direct us for. Sab.
No, you look good in
Thank
this.
you. Come.
I forgot to say.
I'll get it to you.
Yeah?
I'll get to you. So who's not who got everything? Come.
Once upon a time, in the heart of a nation brimming with potential, yet weighed down by challenge, a dream began to stir. It was a dream not of an individual, but of a collective will. A vision to breathe life into the quiet ambitions of SMMEs, the unsung heroes of South Africa's economy. For too long, the stage had been dominated by giants, casting shadows over the smaller players struggling to find their place. For too long, the pathways to success were blocked by barriers of red tape, constrained by access to finance, and hindered by fragmented support systems. But now, a bold step forward. From the corridors of government, the decision was made to unite, to streamline, to empower. The cabinet's call was clear: bring together the forces of CFERI, CBDA, and SEDA to form a single formidable entity. Thus, the Small Enterprise Development and Finance Agency, CEDFA, was born. CEDFA is not just an agency. It is a bridge for those who dream but lack the means. It is a lighthouse for those navigating the stormy seas of entrepreneurship. It is a promise to accelerate support for MSMEs. Our mission is clear: to unlock doors for every micro, small and medium enterprise, to level the playing field, breaking the chains of concentrated ownership, to ignite transformation, driving economic growth that is inclusive and fair. For years, the challenges seemed insurmountable. The bottlenecks slowed the march of innovation. But today, CEDFA rises to change the narrative. We will do more than lend. We will empower. Digital platforms, blended finance, and sector-specific support. CEDFA will equip businesses to survive, thrive, and soar. It will weave a safety net of non-financial support, ensuring that businesses stand strong against the winds of uncertainty. This isn't just about the economy. It's about people. It's about communities. It's about rewriting South Africa's story. A story where unemployment, poverty, and inequality are not the headlines, but the footnotes of a past overcome. Let us see CEDFA as a catalyst for change. Let us imagine the young woman in the township opening her first cooperative. The farmer in the rural village accessing finance to expand his yield. The tech innovator finding partners to take her idea global. This is the power of CEDFA. It is not the solution, it is the enabler of solutions. It is not the destination, it is the road that will take us there. Together, let us lift the SMMEs of our nation. Together, let us create a South Africa where potential meets opportunity, where ideas become enterprises, and where no dream is too small to matter. Welcome to CEDFA.